Okay, I think that's a clue.
Have you ever heard it say, or any old timey people tell you, when your hand itch, you just go get some money?
I haven't heard that one.
I had a grandma and an aunt that fully believed that.
Oh.
Well, a while back, 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
my hand got the itch.
Uh-huh.
And it like to itch me to death for 4 or 5 days.
Right.
And I said,
What?
the big ones. You want the big one on?
Yeah.
It's over there.
Is it? Oh. Yeah.
Now you have to pull that chain.
Okay, yeah.
And I told Johnny Sue, I said, I'm going to get some money. My hand's itching. Well, I carried an insurance for a long time. Pull a chain if you want the light on.
No, I want the fan off.
Oh.
You don't need the fan, do you?
Pull it top
Yeah,
chain.
I did. Yeah. I think I got it.
This insurance I had
Yeah.
went bankrupt.
Uh-huh.
And they sent me a letter and said, if we ever get it straightened out, we will send her, what you call it, people
Right.
return, some money if we have it.
Uh-huh.
Lo and behold, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got a check for $300 and some from that company, and I had forgot that I'd even carried that insurance.
Oh. Huh. Who died?
Huh?
To collect the insurance, someone has to die, right?
They sent me $300 and some.
Did they think you died or something? Why would they send you the money?
No, they said if they ever got it straightened out, they could. They would send her.
Okay.
I was going to say students, but it really ain't so much to say. Some money. And I never thought I'd ever hear of it again. That's what Johnny said. She said, well, Mom, we thought that was over with, didn't we?
Huh.
That was that 328, I believe it was.
Not bad.
No, I took it.
Yeah.
Took it to the bank. He got it cashed.
Huh. Good. So you can live a few more years now.
Yeah. I don't think I told even the kids but Johnny that got Dolores probably knows it.
Who takes you out when you want to go shopping and so on?
Different ones.
Right.
Sometimes Daniel will come down. I go to the store with him at night when he goes. And sometimes I go out with Johnny. Sometimes I go out with Rusty. And sometimes I go with Lori or Megan one.
Why didn't you ever learn to drive?
Stupidity.
Yeah.
For one thing, I didn't have a chance to after I married Lori. And then when you got to drinking so bad, we lived over here, he was going to teach me to drive. Every time I'd get to where I could do pretty good, and I didn't speed as much as he'd want to, he'd stick his foot over on the gas and make me fly. And of course I'd do something wrong.
Right.
And he'd just, you ain't driving my blankety blank car. You're going to tear it up.
This is when?
Oh, back when, before Mark was born, I think.
Yeah. So you were still young then? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Were you working down at Fink's at the time?
Oh, no. I worked down there after me and him separated.
Oh, okay. How'd you get down there?
Woo! If somebody didn't pick me up.
Huh.
And little old Mark, he was 8 or 9 years old. And 9 times out of 10, when it got dark early, he would be down there at the end of the road when we come up the hall.
Yeah.
Waiting for me to walk up the hall and the road with me so nobody would bother me.
Oh.
He said, Mom, I'm afraid for you to walk up that road with your son.
Was that at night?
Yeah, it'd be dark. The
Oh.
nights that I had to work the night shift, or the late shift,
Yeah.
I'd have to work for 10, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was 10 by the time I cleaned up.
So you walked down there?
He walked down there at that age.
Huh.
So he's walking back to me so nobody wouldn't bother him. Could have knocked him in the head too, couldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
People wasn't as bad back then as they are now.
No. Huh. Well, I don't know. You told me somebody killed your grandfather, right? For his paycheck. Who got killed for his paycheck? You're telling me. The railroad paycheck. Or was it a mine? Yeah.
I can't remember what now. Was it a granddad?
You said something like that. Someone got killed walking along the railroad.
Oh, Mom's dad did.
Yeah.
He got his payday. He got a cash at church out there where you passed to go to Dean's. Over the hill there's where they lived. And he was walking down that railroad where the Virginian track goes. And they found him dead down there and then robbed him. And later out they found it was a black man robbed him.
Oh. Okay. So there were nasty people around.
I always, all right. Look way back there in history.
Yeah.
The awful things people did. Ever since there's been human beings, we've been rotten.
There's no trouble around here now, is there? With people? Maybe burglars. Still safe on the road.
Right. Well, I don't know if I'd be safe. Feel safe, say to walk from here to the hard road. Too many cars.
Oh, yeah.
And now see they got a good road between here and Rock. And there's a lot of people travels that you don't know or never seen or.
Right on this road. Black Oak. Where's Black Lick Road?
This?
Same.
Right up through here was called Black Lick Road. Out there where you turned and went down to the schoolhouse. And there was a piece of the road on out to Rock. But now they've got a good road down to the railroad where the schoolhouse, by the schoolhouse where it used to be. And a good road out through there to Rock. I don't know if the one down to the schoolhouse, where the schoolhouse used to be, I don't know if it's hard topped or not. But it was a good road the last time I was on it. That's probably been a year. Because in the summertime, we could go through the river. So if, when the river gets low, we'd cross the river. They just go down a little piece and turn up the hollow where we used to live.
Now, you told me how you kept potatoes and cabbages over the winter. And apples. But what about tomatoes?
That's a story that I don't know. Of course, we'd pull them, when we thought it was going to frost.
Right.
And spread them out on tables, and we called it the greenery then. And if it got real cold before it got ripe, we covered them up.
And they ripened?
Yes, they ripened after you pull them off. If they're if they were mature to certain age, you could almost tell.
So you could have fresh
tomatoes? You could almost tell by the stem on the inside, the green leaves on it.
So you could eat fresh tomatoes? You could have fresh tomatoes for a few months?
We'd keep them way up. Seemed like to me a time or two we kept some for Thanksgiving.
That's all? Now apples, how did we preserve the apples?
Oh gosh, we kept apples. We had apples all winter long because he put them in the greenery. And then after we got a basement in the house that Lord built for us, we put them down in our basement. We could keep them for months and months.
Didn't you also slice some and preserve them?
Yeah, we canned some, and we used to slice them and string them up and hang them up on the cook stove and dry them out, and then Mom would make fried pies, and sometimes she'd cook them, but most of the time we used to make it fried pie because when we sat around, even before we got a radio, our first radio we got going up was the battery. She'd make it, go in there and make us all what we fried pie. And that's what we'd stuff on while we was listening to the radio. And our house was always a house for kids. Mom's two sisters, kids. One lived at Beckley and one lived at Bubba. I think it was called Gaito. Those kids would come and stay with us the whole summer, Daddy let them. He let them come and stay sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks. Go home, kids. You've been here long enough. Go home a while, then you can come back.
Huh.
And give them 2 weeks, they're back.
Why battery radio? Why a battery radio?
Because we didn't have no electricity.
Oh, okay.
See, when I was home, we didn't have no electricity at all.
Huh. That must have been tough without electricity.
I would got used to it.
What do you do for refrigeration?
The hill all above us, Dad did back it down and made us a big cellar, he called it. And we kept the milk and butter and stuff back there, and canned goods, and that's how we kept it.
But what about leftovers?
Leftovers?
Say, if you want to eat them the next day.
Honey, we didn't have any leftovers back then. Not very many leftovers. And 9 times out of 10, if it's either leftovers, some of us went in there and eat them before we went to bed.
Huh. Didn't you also put sulfur down, burn sulfur in a barrel of apples?
Put what?
Sulfur.
Sulfur, yeah. Oh, I hated it. I hated it. I hated the smell.
Why did you do that when you could have dried it?
That was over. You put that sulfur down on top of those apples, instead of cut or something, and burned it. And you put a few, say, maybe that minute's time, and burn that sulfur so long.
Sliced apples.
Sliced apples.
Peel?
And then you put some more. You repeated it until you got it full if you wanted to.
Did you peel it?
Okay, we peeled
them
them,
and
got
sliced
them ready to cook, and then we get them out and wash them 3 or 4 times to get the sulfur smell off of them.
Well, why did you do that when you could have dried them? You could have dried them. You
Oh, we
them
dried
up.
them too.
But why did you sulfur them?
Because they'd always done it, and they did it too. But they was pretty and white when we sulfured them.
Oh, okay.
And when we dried them, see, they turned brown.
Okay. And when she made pies, she didn't want to use fresh ones. Huh?
No, she used both of them.
Oh.
And we dried beans on that string up for the stove.
Oh, yeah, for your leather breeches.
Yeah.
Did you eat leather breeches a lot?
We sure did.
They're not too bad.
That's one thing. We never went hungry during the Depression.
Yeah.
My mother and daddy seen it. We always, and as he said, he fed half of Mercer County. Counting his nieces and nephews.
Right. Why did you not can more?
Oh, can? You would have seen what Mom canned. Mom, all of us can. All of us want to. When we got up a certain size, you either carried the water to wash them in and, wash the cans and things in, if you wasn't big enough to peel them. But by the time you're 6 or 7 years old, you knew how to peel apples.
Oh. Did you have enough jars? Candy jars?
I don't believe things. And some of them, I used to have one, but I guess it's gone now. But it's a regular size down there, and then it tapers off.
Oh, yeah. I know.
You've seen it.
With a zinc lid. The glass top inside the lid, white glass.
And then you put a rubber band on it.
Yeah.
And put that on.
What didn't you like about them?
Oh, I liked it.
Tomatoes would eat through the zinc.
In fact, I used them over at that house until my tops got too old to use. They had to quit using them. Because you could go buy the rubber bands. If you had good rubber bands, they sealed.
Yeah. Huh. Now, did you ever preserve chickens?
Oh, yes. Chickens? Turkeys?
You boil them. You can them.
No. No, Mom didn't can them. When they wanted one, they'd go out, or two,
Even through the winter.
chop the head off, yeah. I remember one time, it sticks in my mind, I see that picture right now. Dad chopped a couple of heads off, and it was snow about that much, and where he had thrown it back for us to get to the barn or to the toilet, that snow was real bloody, and I couldn't stand it because that's chickens that throw that blood on it.
Oh.
Oh, that pretty good white snow. And I mean, it snowed back then.
Yeah.
We don't get those snows now. Like I remember one time, I think I was a teenager, the snow come above my knees.
Huh.
And we didn't have no sled, but we had coal shovels. We'd straddle in coal shovel, and sometimes we ran into something, that coal shovel, it hit us there, hit the bone, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't think we was going to die.
Huh.
And then we got to riding pieces of tin.
Huh.
They tore down something because I remember we had to pull the roofer nails out of it. And we'd pull that tin up on the hill and get on it, sit down on it. And that tin would fly down through there and run clear almost over to the creek in the meadowland with it. It was going straight. It's a wonder when it got killed.
Huh. No broken bones.
No
broken bones.
Never had a broken bone in my life until I broke a finger or two after his marriage.
Huh. Wow. But you had a cousin drown, you said, in the Bluestone. You said you had a cousin drown in the Bluestone River.
Oh, I didn't know him. He died before I.
Oh.
Mom said they had 6 or 7 kids, and 3 of them was retarded.
Oh.
And one of them was a school teacher, and the 2 boys, the one that got killed, got drowned, and another boy was smart as a tack.
Huh.
But they were cousins and married.
Oh.
And they always blamed it, said it was because his cousins.
Right.
The parents didn't say that, but the rest of the family said cousins should have married.
Right. This
Well,
is
it's about 3rd or 4th cousins. I forget now how much.
on your father's side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But Aunt Corey that had the kids, Uncle Joe, they built that big white house next to the hill on there now. I helped them hoe corn things. How many days I could corn 6 days a day.
Hmm.
That's how I bought my clothes to go to school.
Hmm.
And I remember one time we was going to have the first prom I had a chance to go to. And I wanted to go so bad. And I went around there and I said, "Then Corey, can you let me borrow $3? I raised all this blue taffeta dress. I see that, just this plain. It was long, shines, taffeta. You know how.
Yeah.
She didn't have it, but she went in there and she said, "Joe, give this kid $3. She will pay it back when corn time comes." And I hoed corn 25 cents a day and paid it back.
25 cents or 50 cents?
25 cents a day.
Oh.
Because nobody had any money.
How long was the day? How many hours a day?
Oh, we went in about 7 and went to the house and ate lunch and went back and worked till about 5.
They gave you lunch? They give you lunch?
Oh yeah. Over on the river. Sometime we'll have to go over there.
Yeah.
There's 7 acres of bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And they paint that in corn.
Hmm.
We would go down and back of the morning, down and back of the evening. We thought we would never get those 8. I think it was 7 acres of ground. But it seemed like we hoed corn all summer long, did so much of it. But boy, when harvest time come, they had the corn.
What did you home for? For weeds? Why did you home?
We put dirt around them a little bit, and we did, the weeds would choke it out.
Okay. Did you grow beans with the corn or squash?
Sometimes we do.
Squash?
Certain beans
Yeah.
in certain parts of it.
Right.
Usually the one the closest to the house.
Did you have to fertilize them?
Pole beans.
Yeah.
That way then we didn't have to stick a pole in them.
They didn't go up the corn, huh?
Yes, it did. That's why we planted in the corn.
Huh. Did you have to fertilize them? Maybe you didn't.
You know, I don't remember that.
How do they harvest them? By hand?
Yeah.
That one must have been hard.
Dad and them cut them with sickle, cut all that corn with a sickle back in it.
Wow.
They didn't have nothing else to cut it with.
Yeah.
And a sickle was a blade kind of like, you know, in them little,
Yeah.
and they'd put handles on it, make them.
And then they'd stack them, I guess. Huh?
They put them up in so many stalks, and then tie corn around it to hold it.
Huh.
And then when they dried out, they'd go shuck it out.
Did they save their own seed? You know?
Oh, yeah.
And this was for animals or for
Well, they fed it to the cows, the horses, and they saved it for seed.
chickens too?
Chickens, and that way, when they had that big bottom in, they hardly ever had to buy anything for the animals.
What's there now?
I had no idea. Maybe grown up with grass.
Huh.
Because everybody's gone and done that. I know my Uncle Sars had corn and stuff in there, but that was after I moved over here. I don't know. I don't know if they do it now or not.
No houses, huh? No housing? Houses?
Not in that bottom.
Huh.
Not in that bottom.
Because it floods probably, huh? It floods. Does it flood there periodically? Does it flood?
No, the bottom was up high enough. The river was down low.
Bluestone River.
Bluestone. Now down at the very lower end it might, because it kind of slowed down a little bit. The river might got up on it, but I don't remember it.
Huh.
But boy, that whole water where my cousin drowned it. We watched that. We would go so far swimming, but Dad and them would tell us not to pass that. And we knew better to pass that because it was a hole, suction hole or something. That's how it come up to get me drowned.
Now this blue taffeta dress that you got, how long could you use it for?
Well, I used it 2 years.
2, that's all?
Yeah, then cut it off and changed the collar on it and used it for a dress.
Where did you buy it?
Hudson. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. It's something like that in Matoko.
Oh, okay. It was a clothing store.
Clothing store. Oh, I thought that was the most beautiful dress in the world.
What do you use for shoes?
Oh, I can't remember what I wore for shoes. I remember one beige pair that had heels on it when I was 16. I believe my Aunt May gave those to me. I thought that was the prettiest pair of shoes I ever seen in my life. But it had straps around the ankle, and it had heels about that high. I would put them on and strut them.
Where did you go to school? Matoko?
I went to walk. Well, there's a schoolhouse about a mile. 2 years I went to that, and we had to walk down out that hall, up that road, back down that road, back up that hall. And then it started to take us to walk. And I went 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th at walk.
How do you get there?
The school bus.
Oh, back then they had a school bus.
Yeah.
You're talking the Depression.
Yeah.
You're born in 21, so.
And then when we got to 7th grade, it took us to Matoko. And there's a schoolhouse up on top of the hill up there in Matoko. Of course, 7th and 8th grade and 9th had to go up on that mountain. But Unless it was real bad, the school bus took us up there. But if it was real slick, we walked up that curvy road to the school house from the post office, where the post office was in Kentucky.
Huh.
You've been in Kentucky, haven't you?
I don't know.
I don't know what it looks like now.
Oh, yeah.
It had maybe 2 blocks on each side. Maybe 2 blocks. Short blocks, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know it wasn't too long. I remember Mr. Davis's store and a hardware store, but I can't remember who had that. And then there was a restaurant down at the end, and it had B in it. Busy Beer. Might have been Busy Beer. And this man was an Italian or some kind of a foreigner, and this woman was American, and I thought that was the prettiest woman I've ever seen in my life. And they had a beautiful daughter too, about our age. But I'd love to go with her, just look at that woman. She was so pretty, and she always dressed pretty and wore makeup, and that's what fascinated me. Because see, I wasn't used to makeup.
Oh.
But I just love to see her dressed up.
How old were you then?
In 70 grade.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now you remember what you're going to ask for your 91st birthday?
What?
You want someone to take you around, right?
Okay.
Remember who said that?
Okay. Oh well, I could go a lot of times. I hope so. I say, I don't want to go on.
Why?
I don't know. Sometimes I just don't want to go there. Sometimes I do.
Yeah. You want to see where you used to live, though.
Oh, you mean take me over there?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
That'll probably be Rusty.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, he usually takes me because he can kind of remember how the holler used to look.
Oh, okay.
Because see, Debbie was
1.
2 or 3 years old when we moved over here.
No, she was 1. Debbie was 1.
1. All right, then maybe he's 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
old. But he could tell. It used to be he could tell me who lived in the houses. But now there's several houses up the holler here. Last time me and him was over, he'd say, "Mom, that's where you used to live, your dad." And Mom's house is gone. And Johnny's husband's brother built a house up there. And somebody else has got a house. Then on down here where me and Maury live, there's a couple houses where we was over, and I don't know how many's over now. And then over on Artie's part of the land, Artie had a house, and he and his kids grew up there. And I don't know how many different people live in that. Don't know who's in it now, if it's family or who.
Who built these houses? You built them yourselves, these houses?
Oh, all those up the hall, they built them.
No plumbing, no electricity.
Oh yeah, there's electricity up there because we got it when.
No, but when they were built, you didn't have.
Oh no. Well, my house, Mom's house, we got electricity, but it's just the 2 of us. Because Mom lived way up here, and I lived way down here. Because I remember having a battery type washing machine, and I was the happiest person in the world getting that thing.
To get rid of the battery machine? Why? Oh, you mean when
to run the
electricity
washing
came?
machine.
Yeah. It was a homemade machine?
No, it was kind of square. Why?
Was it a ringer washer?
Yeah.
Did you have to wring it by hand?
Yeah.
So it just agitated.
Yeah. You could run an electricity or a battery, and the agitator would go around and wash the clothes, and then you'd have to put it, run it through the ringers.
Yeah.
Boy, I hate to go back that kind of life.
You would? Huh. Oh, wow. No telephone.
No telephone.
So how did they get a message to Beckley or elsewhere?
We'd have to come out and use somebody else. Or somebody had a telephone. For one thing, they brought the telephones down so full, and I believe the man's name was Brown. Wouldn't let him cross. He got the telephone and electricity, but he wouldn't let him cross his land, and he had God's acres. So we had to wait till he come up from Shawnee. That way, get it.
Did you have to pay for each telephone call?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
You probably have to go through an operator.
I think they were battery. I believe the first ones we had up there, I think it was battery.
But the connection must have been done through an operator, right?
Yeah, some way. I'm not sure how that happened. I almost forgot about that.
How did you get to Princeton from when you lived here?
Uncle Joe had our own Model T Ford.
Oh.
And when we lived over there with his kids, he'd take 4 or 5 of us, he'd bring 4 or 5 of us every Saturday.
Oh, okay.
He and Aunt Tori would come and bring us kids. He'd fire as many as he could get in the back. Bring us.
Uncle Joe, your
The one that lived in the big white house. Had more than any of the rest of us.
Roy's
he
brother.
was Dad's oldest brother.
Oh. Huh.
And Dad was one next to the baby.
Oh. What did he take you to town for on Saturday?
On Saturday? Oh, he wasn't much of a town man.
Princeton.
Yeah. They'd come over there and he'd say, I don't have to worry about y'all getting lost and something if you can get lost.
What did he go in for?
Huh?
What did he go into town for?
I can't remember. I think he brought some vegetables too.
Well, he grew vegetables.
And so, because in the summertime, the only time he brings us. Oh, if that road was slick, he wouldn't let us ride. He said, I'm not letting you kids ride around me. He said, I'm not that good of a driver, and I'm not letting y'all ride with me.
He was a farmer. He was a farmer.
Yeah. I don't think he ever held a public job. He just farmed.
No.
But he sold cows, and he had gobs of sheep, and he'd kill mutton or sell them and kill them. And he got to, he started getting old, he started getting sick when he started, well, he was sick for something, I can't remember now what. And he'd tell Dad, if you'll kill that cow for me, I'll give you so much of it. Or if you'll kill the sheep, you can have half of it. Then when he get ready for another, kill us another sheep. And that way, see, we had meat and Dad had meat. Only Dad raised hogs himself. Because he worked in the mines a long time after me. We lived in Glen Morrison, and it was getting 1 and 2 days. And buddy they'd take our rent, and it was nowhere to go buy groceries except the company store. You had to go there to get them. And they made sure they got their rent out of it, and we got to buy groceries to what about the money we had in there. So he said, I gotta move y'all out of here to go starve to death and go and get you out of here.
Yeah.
And he come up on the train. There used to be a station out here where you cross the railroad. And that old house, it was a horrible house. You could see out the cracks, see the stars. And Mom was walking through the house one day and one board broke. And she looked down through it up above her knee. And he hurried up and, fixed it as quick as he could. No wonder I'm such a hillbilly, is it?
No one seems to grow sheep around here anymore. No one seems to grow sheep around here. At least not for eating.
I don't know Artie that got Uncle Joe's house, but he might have sheep, but I doubt it now as old as he is. But say 10 years ago, I bet he had sheep.
You can hardly buy lamb anymore. It's so expensive.
God said, sure they won't shoot, sell it.
You like the meat?
Sheep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind doing it. Because I had grew up on it.
Oh, yeah.
See, when Dad killed him for Uncle Joe, he'd give him half of them.
Yeah.
Every time he killed a sheep, he'd give him half of it.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't able to do it. He said that way we could both have meat to eat.
Did he ever tan the skins? Did he tan the skins? Sheepskins.
They done something to it. That must have been what they done.
Right.
I remember in Corey had some spread out as a rug.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It was sheepskin.
Right.
Mm-hmm. See, it was during the Depression, and you didn't run out and buy a rug every time you wanted to then.
Right.
I had forgot about that.
And you always had catfish.
Huh?
You had fish from the river.
Oh, yeah. You could catch fish then pretty easy.
Did they ever preserve the fish?
They were.
Did they ever preserve it? Did they salt it or can it or dry it or?
I don't think so.
No.
I think they used it as a dog.
No.
I don't Mom did because it's too late on the years with me.
Mm.
And then we always had a lot of company. Dad said it was always because he furnished us something to eat to come to our house and get something to eat to the kids. He said, poor little things ain't got nothing to eat at home. And they come here to get something to eat.
Huh. Did they do any brining of vegetables? Did they brine any vegetables?
Oh, yeah. Gosh, you ought to seen the big gardens we had. And it wasn't nothing. Put cans of beans in a wash tub, put fire under, and can them, and it wasn't nothing to can 50 or 60 or 70 cans of beans.
At one setting.
For one family, because we used it during the winter time,
Right.
or down until beans come in again.
Right.
And Mom would string them up and hang them up, and we'd break them up and put them in a green wire, I think. It had 2 ends to it. Then put something up and then tied them up for any dried apples, dried green beans, apples. I can't remember anything but apples and green beans.
Did they ever brine anything? Did they put it in salt water like pickles?
Oh. Cucumber pickles?
Yeah.
Mom had crops about that big around and about that high. She fixed kraut. Oh God, I hate that stuff to this day.
Huh.
Kraut, and she put big old cucumbers in them pickled.
Yeah.
And she had 3 of them. Let's see now. Pickle beans, kraut, and cucumbers.
No vinegar, right? She just used salt water?
Salt.
Yeah. Was salt cheap?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because you didn't get any around here. Salt had to be imported, right?
This is when we lived on the river we was growing up.
Yeah, but you had to bring it in.
Yeah, we had to go get it. And 9 times out of 10, for a while we had to buy it in bags, like in the brown bag.
Yeah.
But then they got to put it in a box.
Oh.
And Mom would buy it in the box we used to make bread and cook with.
Oh.
But then when we do something else, like pickle beans and things, she'd buy it the loose.
Yeah.
It was cheaper.
You remember when they started putting iodine in salt?
I halfway do, but I couldn't tell you what year it was.
Because I think people used to get goitered around here.
I know. I used to have one.
Oh, yeah.
My grandma had one.
Yeah, no, she
And
did.
I had one. I don't know how. I can't remember how I got rid of mine.
Eat iodine.
Probably.
Yeah.
I remember. Yes, I remember using iodine a lot and eating.
Right.
That's how I got rid of it.
Right. That's when they added it to the salt, because people here weren't getting enough iodine. What else did you have to buy in the way of food besides salt?
Salt and sugar, baking powders. Because we raised our chickens and had meat, the cows and the sheep, they had our meat.
Bread,
And to raise your chickens, they had the eggs.
Yeah. Flour you had to buy too, I guess.
Flour, yeah, we had to buy flour. Grandma Carter did would have wheat fields, and I remember those thrashers, is that what you call them?
Mm-hmm.
Thrashers would come up there and thrash it out before.
Oh.
But it took, what did she raise? They took, run, mom's parents.
Mm-hmm. Was it mechanized or horse drawn? The threshers.
No, I can't remember. I was just a kid.
But the fields were plowed by horse and plow? Or do you have tractors back then?
It seemed like to me there was horses in there.
Right. Were there tractors? When did the tractors come in?
I remember them coming, but I can't tell you when.
After the war?
Oh gosh, we thought it was the most fascinating things when we seen them. And I'll never forget when they started plowing, and then had to use the horse to plow.
Oh. Huh. And you used outhouses all the time, huh? You used outhouses? Outhouses. Privies. Outhouses for the toilets.
Oh yeah.
Did they dig a new one each time, or did they empty the old one?
They usually, when we lived up the holler, Dad built it over the creek.
Oh, okay.
He got up on a high part of the bank of the creek and built it, and it went down the creek because there's nobody below us.
Nobody?
Because it went down through our big long bottom and went into Bluestone.
Oh, okay. Huh.
He said, nobody below us.
Yeah. That's interesting. I never heard of that before.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Huh. The fish, and then you ate the fish, huh?
Oh, yeah.
From Bluestone.
From Bluestone. We didn't thought about the poop it went in.
That's recycling.
My sister already was sick when she was ill. I forget what she had.
No.
They didn't think she did. Of course, they caught her with it. Spoiled her death.
No.
And I was the oldest one, and I was always happy to get this for and that for. I almost hated her at times. Because I had to give and do so much stuff.
Was she bedridden? Was she bedridden?
Part of the time. But then we lived down in Alcoa, I believe, down between her loads. And the doctor come every day for about 2 years to see her.
Every day?
I don't believe he missed, well, maybe on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And I love that doctor. I told Mother, she reminded me of him after I was about 16 or 17. She said, why don't you hunt never what his name was? I can't remember now. You always told me you wasn't marrying nobody if you couldn't marry him. But I loved him to pieces. And he was a school teacher. That's right, he was a school teacher.
He was a doctor and a school teacher? No. He couldn't have been a doctor.
No. Well, no, that's right. The school teachers wouldn't give me the apple. I sort of say the doctor did. But the school teachers wouldn't give me an apple. Because I thought he was the prettiest thing I ever seen. And I'd always be out in the gate if it was weather to say something to him. We had a walk about probably from Europe to the road. And I'd be standing out there. And he'd stop and talk to him and rub my hair and talk to him. And I learned my ABCs through that man, and the boxes that we got groceries off of. Because he would say them to me. I could say them, but I didn't know what it was. Then I'd ask Mom, I'd say, what's this? And she'd tell me. That's how I learned my ABCs.
This is before you started going to school?
Oh, yeah, I knew my ABCs by the time I was 5 years old.
Oh.
And then I took the school teacher again when he found out I learned my ABCs.
Who was sick? Your older sister was sick, you said?
Arietta. Mm-hmm.
And
I forget what was wrong with her. But they said she wouldn't make it, but she did.
No one had polio, huh?
Oh, no. Lord, that was way before polio.
Oh, yeah. Before polio? No.
When
polio came, did any of you get sick? Or any of the kids around here?
I can't remember.
No one died, huh? Polio.
I everybody in the family died.
Right.
I remember one or two having it. I can't remember. I don't think anybody died with it.
How old was Aretta when she died?
When she was?
When she died, how long did she live?
Oh, she was grown and she spoiled the horses to death.
Huh.
She lived long enough to spoil her when she was rotten.
Oh, yeah.
Because she didn't have any kids, couldn't have any from what had been wrong with her. And she liked the others, but Dolores was big enough that she could tell Dolores what to do. She told her to do so many things and spoiled her to death.
She was your oldest sister?
No, I was oldest and she was.
Oh, okay.
We had a brother that died between us.
Oh, how old was he?
He died, I think when he was born.
Oh,
He came early.
How old was Aretta when she got sick?
During the war.
Oh, so 20-some years old.
She was probably in her 30s.
When she got sick? Oh, geez.
I mean, I don't know if it's the same stuff she had when she's little or something else.
Oh, no.
I can't remember because she was really sick when she was little. I don't know. But I can't remember what it was.
You saying the doctor came every day or the school teacher?
The doctor came every day to see her for a while. She started getting better. Mars was his name. Dr. Mars.
How did he travel? Did he have a car? How did he travel?
Oh, his office, his rural company houses down here and the railroads up here and houses above there, and he had his office in the house up above the railroad. He didn't have to walk. Well, I don't know how much he walked. He probably went all over the camp. Didn't he?
Oh, this is when you were in the railroad camp. This is when you were in the railroad camp, not out here on.
Oh no. Railroad camp.
Oh, yeah. Where was that?
Before I started school, when we lived in Alpokie.
Alpokie.
It's 2-year bonds.
Oh, okay. What county? What county was that? McDowell County?
No.
Alpokie. You can look that up.
It must have been McDowell. What county was on the other side of Marshall?
I think it's McDowell.
Well, it's 20-year in Bolton.
Okay. Oh,
I think you know.
so what was your favorite dessert that you used to make? Your favorite dessert. What was your favorite dessert?
Mom was all the time Dad loved dessert. She was all the time making apple pies. And then after we moved up here in the country and got chickens, she'd make pies. We had to use a little eggs in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you have chocolate?
Yeah, somehow she got cocoa. I don't know how she got it.
Okay.
That's one thing. Sometimes our clothes got a little scrunchy with it, but we never went hungry. Dad seen the dad. Dad and Mom together.
Right. Did you have nuts? Did you have any nut trees?
Any what?
Nut trees?
Walnuts.
Oh, black walnuts.
And white walnuts.
Oh.
Oh yeah, we'd gather them up and put them in the sacks and put them up. But first we'd gather them up and let the coals get soft or and then Dad would fix us a long pole out of a green tree, and he would about half cut it into it and would flop up and down, and he'd say, "Now beat that shells off."
Oh, okay.
Beat them shells off of that walnuts, and then he would say, "Then pick them out and put them over in the sun, let them dry out, and then I'll put them in the barn or the granary or something, heat them to freeze, and we can have nuts to make candy all winter, and cookies and stuff.
The squirrels didn't get to them, huh?
Oh, the squirrels probably got part of it.
All right. You can just step on them to get the shells off.
Huh?
I just step on them to get the shells off.
Oh, not as many as we get them.
No.
He made us all work, but we always had plenty to eat too.
Right.
He first started out with one hog. He got the vet, then he killed 4 hogs a year. Well, like I told you, half of the family on both sides come to our house to eat.
Right.
When food was scarce.
Your privies, when you were down here, did you move them or did you empty them when they got full? The privies, the toilets, the outhouses.
Well, let's see. It was right.
But you moved them when they got full. What did you do? Did you move them? Or did you empty them and reuse them?
They had a ditch cut across. You know, a ditch like the other.
Yeah.
And we could go down. We could push it down the creek in that ditch, and then go down there and get the creek.
But you had to empty them.
Yeah. Well, you get quite a bit in it.
Yeah. You didn't dig a new one.
No.
No. You didn't put it on the gardens, huh?
Oh no. Daddy killed us if we put it in the garden.
No.
I ain't eat no human SHIT.
No. No.
Oh Lord, I forgot you. You still doing that? No, good.
No, I'll turn it off.
Did you know